Okay, so with this episode, I'm going to start first by reading you the transcript from a video that I posted to my YouTube and my Instagram channel a couple of days ago. I will not be posting to TikTok anymore, and after I finish reading the transcript, you'll know why. Basically, the thing is a time suck. I can't rail against these things taking our time, draining us of our potential, and yet still continue to contribute to a platform that does just that. As it stands right now, the other two, YouTube and Instagram, don't seem to be as offensive as TikTok. I mean, TikTok is on another level. It is designed to drain you of your time and drain you of your potential. But we'll get back to that later. Here we go. If you live to the age of 79, which is the average lifespan, you will have approximately 692,000 hours to spend. You spend a third of that asleep. So subtract 230,000 hours from that. That will leave you with approximately 460,000 hours left to live. Now, you don't really begin to have control of your life in this country until you're about 18 years old. There are about 157,000 hours in 18 years. So let's subtract that from 461,000. Now, a quick aside. You can make the argument that only the waking hours from the ages of 1 to 16 should be subtracted from the 461,000. However, it ends up leaving you with only about 3 hours a day in the grand scheme of things. So ultimately, it still doesn't matter. And I'll continue to tell you why. Back to the point. This will leave you with approximately 300,000 hours left from the age of 18 to the age of 79, assuming you make it to age 79. Now, depending on how well you take care of your body, your years from the ages of 70 to 79 may be fantastic, or you may experience a diminished quality of life. But if you're presently in your 20s to your 60s, one thing I can say for sure is that these are probably going to be your best and most productive years of life, statistically speaking. So I'm going to deduct 78,000 hours that will account from the years of 70 to 79. So, from the age of 18 to 70, you have approximately 220,000 hours to spend. Or, if you go back to my earlier point about if I only reduce or deduct the waking hours from the first 18 years of your life and the last 9, then that will leave you with roughly about 250,000 hours. But let's stick with 224. Imagine I gave you $224,000. We're going to use dollars to kind of drive the point home. And I told you to make that last for 52 years. That's $4,322 a year. That's $360 a month. That's $83 a week. That's $11 a day. If we add those extra hours from the first 18 and your last 9, then that will leave you about $14 or hours a day. Still, if you work a 9-to-5 job doing something that you don't like just to survive, just to make it day to day, just to pay your bills, to make somebody else richer, then subtract $8 or hours from that 11. That leaves you with about $3 left a day to spend, or 6, depending on what you want to use. Now, you spend about an hour or two a day eating, drinking, sitting in traffic, showering, getting ready for the day, etc., leaving you with just 1 hour a day left. That's yours. Now, the reason why those last 9 years and those first 18 don't really matter, because even if we say, okay, you have 6 hours a day, that's yours. Out of the 24 a day that we're told, you have 6 hours a day that's yours. We can go ahead and strike out about 3, because those 3 hours you're going to spend getting ready for the day, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, cooking, eating dinner. Depending on what country you live or how you live, a lot of the time is spent at happy hour, drinking and getting drunk in order to deal with the stress from the 8 hours that you've spent at work. So ultimately, whether or not I deduct or write off those first 18 hours, those first 18 years rather, and those last 9, and I add in the waking hours, however you see fit, whether you're left with 3 hours a day to spend or 6 hours a day to spend, those 3 are knocked off just with random bullshit. Eating, drinking, sitting in traffic, getting drunk, watching TV. I, even for the sake of this argument, didn't look up how much time people spend watching TV. I chose instead to focus on what the average person is spending on social media. Now, this is a conservative estimate. People spend more than 2 hours and 30 minutes a day consuming social media. So let's go back. I'm going to give you a more gracious estimate. Let's say instead of leaving you with 3 hours a day, you're left with 6 hours a day. When it's all said and done, that's yours. Like I said, knock out those 3. Because if you're going to happy hour after work, if you're sitting in traffic, if you're commuting, if you're doing your makeup, you think about the fact that we women spend time doing our hair and makeup every single day and how much time that costs. You can deduct that because you're going to wash your face at the end of the day and you're doing it again. Same thing with your nails. You're going to deduct that, and then you're going to deduct that from your 6 hours. If you spend 45 minutes, 30 minutes doing, that's gone. If you're going to go get your nails done, you're just sitting there for an hour every 2 weeks, take that off. If you're curling your hair, that's 15 minutes gone. That's not counting all the things that we're doing that just take our day. Picking your kids up from school, driving them to school, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying these things add up. How much of that is yours? So let's cut out those 3 hours anyway. You're left now with 3. That's yours, right? Because commuting, let's say you go to work, it's 30 minutes back and forth. That's an hour. Boom. Now you have 2. Well, you got to cook dinner. You got to order dinner, right? You're going to watch TV. You're not going to watch just an hour of TV. More than likely, everybody's got Netflix, Hulu, whatever, cable. That's gone. So I'm going to give you back. Now you've backed to 3 hours. Somewhere in there, this is a conservative estimate. The average person is spending 2.5 hours consuming social media. Now, others that I've read said it's somewhere closer to 3 or 4. But let's just say 2.5. What is that costing you? What is this costing you? Because these apps are, in fact, free. Yes. Because they don't cost you any paper money up front. We've actually moved to the past the point where it's paper anymore, because now it's just digital. Somebody pushed a button. On my YouTube channel, a bunch, like 3-4 videos posted to my YouTube channel out of the blue from nowhere, like old videos to my old podcast episodes, from Your One Black Friend, older episodes from like 3-4 years ago. And I left one up. It was called Carrot on a Stick Bullshit. I cussed a lot more than I do now. But on there, I was kind of saying, like, they don't print money. Even there was a time when you could say at least it was worth the tree that died, the piece of paper that is printed on, the ink, but that it's not even paper anymore. It's just digital. And now they're trying to push us to a point where you're not going to even have cash anymore. That's what they want now, where it's 100% digital and it just bites on a computer screen and somebody pushed a button. That's what they're reducing our lives to. Do you understand? Where it used to be, hey, at least you're working for gold. Then it was, hey, you're working for this receipt, this IOU that was backed by gold. Then they said, okay, well, it's not backed by gold anymore. It's just the belief in it. But at least you had the paper. Now, it's just nothing. They're moving it towards just zeros and ones on a computer screen. They don't even print money, but let's just say that they do, right? I believe it was like 1% of the total money in circulation actually gets printed as cash. So they're trying to actually save themselves the cost of printing money, one, by moving us all to digital currency, and two, just make us more controllable. Anyway, they can always print more money. They can always push a button to give you, added a little zero behind that 10, and now that's 100. You see how meaningless that is? But can you print more time? You can't print more time. So think about just how much. Think about what you are actually losing when you're scrolling endlessly on these apps. What are these apps costing you in wasted potential? See, on the video, I posted a quick screenshot and it referenced the weeping angel from Doctor Who. And the weeping angel were considered the kindest type of sociopaths because they kill you by sending you back in time. So they would, when you weren't looking at them, they would move towards you, and you had to keep looking at them to stop them from consuming you. But if you looked away, if you blinked, they would take you, they would touch you, and they would send you back in time. And what they would do was they would feed on the energy of what you could have become. That monster and the Midnight Monster on Doctor Who were two monsters that terrified me from the series, because they were a different type of monster. I've referenced Midnight before. If you watch no other episodes of Doctor Who, watch Midnight. It was a doctor, he's on this tour of the planet Midnight. Something gets into the bus, and first it mimics, then it syncs up, and then it takes your voice. It took the doctor's voice. And we're seeing that with AI. And with the weeping angels, it's the same thing but different. Right? The more we stare at our phones, the more they drain us of our potential, of what we could have been. I always say this, in a world with a Picasso and a Van Gogh and a Da Vinci, if they grew up in a time like ours, would their works exist? What are these things really costing us? And when I put in those videos, or screenshots of saying that the average millionaire spends only 2.5 hours a week on social media, we're spending the same amount of time a day. And that's a conservative estimate. Most people aren't spending 2.5 hours. They're saying an average. So for them to get to 2.5 minutes, there are some highs. And maybe not so low lows to get to 2.5. That is a lot. I saw another estimate that said that millennials are spending about 4 hours Gen Z, they're spending about 6-7 hours. What is that costing you? Why is it that the tech companies, the people who work for these tech companies, people who invented these things, won't allow their children to be on these things, but they give it to us? These are the modern bread and circuses to keep us docile. We waste our lives. Think about how much of a waste that is when you get up in the morning and you're going to go do something that you don't necessarily enjoy doing just so you can live. How is that we all came into this world? Look at animals. They live here for free. We have to pay to exist. How is that not a modern feudalism? How is that not slavery with extra steps? This podcast is going to be twofold because we're really going to delve into it. It's going to be a recap of the last couple episodes, because now we've built the foundation. We're going to build from that. Now, do you see why the people who have presently shaped the world that we presently live in, the reality that we exist in right now, do you see how why they practically shoved these phones into our hands for free? Do you see why they made them addictive? Do you understand why they don't allow their offspring, their progenies, their children on these things? And while you're working a 9-to-5 job to buy things that you don't really need to impress people that you don't really like, that was a Fight Club reference, by the way, exchanging hours of your life for pieces of paper to buy stuff, while they get richer and get to use their full 230,000 hours however they see fit. How are you spending yours? Have you ever asked yourself why the average workday is 8 hours? That's 8 hours. You sleep for a third of your life. You work for a third of your life. A third of your life is supposed to be yours, and it's not. You're either resting that remaining 8 hours away, or you're scrolling it away, or you're drinking it away, or you're watching it away, or you're entertaining it away. Don't you think it's interesting that the people who waste the most of your time, the people who contribute to you wasting your time and not doing anything profitable, productive, creative, are the people who get paid the most in our society? My videos stay being shadow banned. But if I was shaking my ass or just talking nonsense, I guarantee you that shit would be boosted. Do you see what is being rewarded? Do you understand that we came into this world all in the same way? We're not all equals. Unfortunately, even though we're taught that we're all created equal, we weren't. And we weren't all given equal opportunities either. And do you see how these things are set up as an obstacle to keep the people who could challenge the people who are presently in power for power and the authority, the ability to change things, to shift us off this trajectory? Do you see how they protect their time while encouraging you to waste yours? I see all these advertisements. Buy Coke. That's $4. Do you fucking need a Coke? Do you need juice? Do you need those shoes? Do you need a new outfit? Oh, Shine. Everything's super cheap. You can buy this shirt for $12. You have a shirt. But if somebody offered you the opportunity to learn something and they say, look, I will teach you something that will drastically improve your life, but all you have to do is pay me $3, $5, they're going to get mad and say, no, you should give me that for free. Why? I didn't freely learn the information that I'm teaching you. I spent my time and I can't get that time back. So for me, saying that you should pay $3 is almost an insult for me. But you'll quickly go and buy mascara or beard oil or a tweezer without blinking an eye. You'll pay $20 to Hulu to waste your life without blinking an eye, but to pay one another for the things that they have learned to teach you to improve your life, to save as much of those. It's not that much a month. 350 hours a month, that's it. As much as of those, let's say, 14 hours a day. Let's not even say that because it's really not. Let's say 3 hours a day or 11 hours a day for you to harness that back. And you're telling them, no, you shouldn't charge me. You should give me that for free. I'll get back to that. Do you think I'm the first person to do this math? I'm going to tie it with this next sentence. Do you think that the average workday being 8 hours is a coincidence? Do you need 8 hours to do the shit you do at work? You don't. Most people who are working at work aren't doing shit at work. They can do their work in about an hour's time, and the rest of the time they're spent dicking around trying to look like they're working. And what people aren't realizing is that you are required to work those 8 hours so that your time can be consumed, so that your potential can be consumed, so that you don't set yourself up as a competitor, so that you are fully dependent on them to help you make ends meet. Pay to exist in this modern feudalist society that we are seeing unravel in front of our eyes. Don't you find it weird that companies are trying to force people back to the office when they can just as easily do the same shit at home as in their office more efficiently? Don't you find it weird that there are articles out there of companies who fired people for taking on 2 remote jobs? That actually fucking happened. They found out that people were working more than one job and they fired them. Who gives you that much control over my life to tell me that to force me into earning only a certain amount of money so I can continue to depend on you? How is that not slavery? With extra steps. You need to start reclaiming your time. Now, to go back to my other point. If I know something in my head and I put it on a platform and then I say, hey, for you to get what I know, just pay $3. Now, this is an uncomfortable conversation, but I'm going to have it because this applies to you as well. You should not feel uncomfortable charging for what you know, because corporations don't feel uncomfortable charging you for bullshit. Basically, where we are right now is that what you know is being commoditized, but you're not being paid for it. Everything that we have shared of ourselves onto these platforms freely, we are mining our minds, we are mining our life experiences, and we're putting onto these platforms. These platforms aren't going to pay you for that, or at least they haven't been. Now, if people start getting wiser and start moving to platforms that allow them to profit off of their time, then things will change. But you say I should give you my knowledge for free, and I have been. But what you're really saying is, if I decide, okay, I want to charge for this course, and I say, this is going to be $3. What you're saying is, that mascara is worth more than something that could fundamentally shift your entire perspective. And that's not even your fault that you think that. It's the way our society is set up. But do understand that regardless of whether or not I give you this information for free, especially if I give you this information for free, Spotify is making a living, is making a profit. They are making money off of every single word that's coming out of my mouth right now that you are getting, quote, for free, either through subscription or through an ad. And as of now, I see zero of it. So my life experiences, all of the books, I read 5 books a week. Everything, all of my wisdom, quote unquote, all of my life experiences, the way my mind works, everything that I am that allowed me to share this information with you, because I need to talk to you to reach you, because of the society that we live in right now where people don't really truly value this. I make zero. Spotify makes billions. And it's not just me. It's every single creator that you see on TikTok, that you see on Instagram, that you see on YouTube. Unless they have millions of people, they get nothing. But all these corporations that I listed absolutely make money off of their intellectual property. And we encourage this. So when somebody like me comes along and says you should charge for what you know, I'm having somebody illustrate something that I probably could have run through an app and create a cartoon version of myself. But I'm paying the creator $60 for their time. I'm not going to pay an app. I'm going to pay a person. That's respect. That's respect for a human being. That's respect for a human experience. We have essentially been tricked into giving our labor, our time, and our energy, all of our experiences, all of our information, to put it out to the public for free. How is that not slavery? And in certain communities, in the spiritual community, if you start talking about, hey, you should buy this, or you should, everybody goes, oh no. Are you conscious and also asking for people to, yeah. Yes, if you are a spiritual leader, you should be encouraging people to pick what they value, because that is a reinforcement. This is not comfortable. If you don't like what I have to say, stop listening to me. That's okay. Because guess what? I don't lose anything because I'm not gaining anything. At this moment in my life, I'm simply doing this with full understanding. I know that every time I put my content, quote, content out there, you don't have to tell me I'm not getting paid for this. I know I'm not getting paid for this. It's so funny when I'll post a video and somebody will say unfollow, and it's like, okay. Cool. I don't give a shit. What does that do for me? Nothing. You're not paying for anything. So you announcing that you will no longer consume something you were getting for free, thank you. That doesn't hurt me. So I can say whatever the fuck I want. Take it or leave it. If you have knowledge that I need, at this present day, it's 2023. Don't post that shit on Instagram. Use Instagram or YouTube as advertisement to point people to where they can pay for what you know. If they can pay for a box of fucking cookies that they don't need, they can pay for knowledge. Let's make that normal. Instead of paying these corporations, you're going to go buy a box of fucking Nabisco Oreo cookies that's going to give people cancer. They can choose to redirect that, because you don't need cookies to live. They can choose to redirect their funds to learn about how to start a business, how to set up a YouTube channel, how to set up lighting. I bought I don't know how to say it. There are these jars, and they're different complexes, mushroom complexes, and I bought them from, I hope I'm saying this right, Sublime Liberation is the name of the company, and she follows me on Instagram, the owner of this small business. And so I bought, it was like the sampler set. It's like 6, I think, different sets, like different flavors. They're all beautiful. It was like $100. And I think you guys should patronize her store. I don't have as much, of a reach as I would like yet, but I would love to drive you to her store. She's not paying me to do this, by the way. I want you guys to be able to purchase something that when you open it and you consume it, you can tell that it was made with love and passion and kindness. You cannot buy that from a grocery store. And everything is energy. Everybody likes to say everything is energy. People don't realize that, okay, well, what does that energy, something is feeding off of that energy. Something is powering. Something is being powered by that energy as well. Empowered by that energy as well. I would much rather take a scoop of a mushroom complex powder with reishi and chaga and lion's mane that I know was made with somebody who is passionate, made by hand, artisan, made by hand, with somebody that I know is passionate about what they're putting into their product. You can feel it. Then go to the store and buy some shit that was made in some corporation. I'm sorry. That's how I choose to operate, to move. And we need to keep that same energy. Maybe you can buy 50 pairs of shoes from Shine. You only have 1 pair of feet. You only have 2 feet. For the same amount of money you would spend on some bullshit that's going to fall apart, you can reel that in and buy a nice handmade pair of boots from some artisanal crafter out there. For the same amount of money you're giving to Hulu and Netflix to watch some bullshit, you can pay for a course. You can purchase a book. You can download a PDF, right? These are things. This is not going to reach 7 billion people. It doesn't have to. It's not meant for 7 billion people. If you've listened this far, then it's meant for you. There's no reason in this day and age for us all to have to work a 9 to 5, to spend your time achieving other people's dreams when you have knowledge in your head. We have been convinced that knowledge in our head should be given away for free, except it's not given away for free. If you post it on YouTube, they're making money off of it. If you post it on Instagram, they're making money off of it. So you need to consider yourself a one-person marketplace. In this day and age, there are tools right now, like Ko-fi, ko.fi.com. They're not paying me for this. I just think it's a tool, and I feel like the people right now anyway, they have the right idea. Or buymeacoffee.com. You can go set up a page right now. take the time, spend the time to do the thing once that will continue to benefit you over and over again once you've done it once, as opposed to the tedium of a 9 to 5 where you're just doing the same shit over and over and over again like a fucking slave. Do the work once. Build a site once. If you don't want to go through those avenues, then hit up Fiverr and find somebody who will build you a website. Your own website. At this day and age, there's no reason why every single person should not have their own website where they're offering what they sell. Whether they're selling knowledge or something that they make. And then we support each other. And then you can turn around and then you can use these apps like a YouTube and an Instagram, not as something where you're just doing shit for exposure. You can't pay bills with exposure. This is until things dramatically change. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. I don't think people realize this. I think they see this person has millions of followers. It doesn't mean shit. How many followers a person has, it doesn't matter. Because, for example, TikTok, they've made it where, like, it used to be when you had a lot of followers, companies could reach you directly, use the contact us form, and send you offers and say, hey, we will give you thousands of dollars. I know this because it happened to me. We will give you thousands of dollars to just talk about this product or this whatever. TikTok got a hold of that. And it wasn't enough that they were getting your intellectual property for free. They shut that down and said, no, now you have to go through us and give us a cut of that. Why? How is that not fucked up? All you did was create a platform one time that spread through human beings and word of mouth. I never saw an ad for TikTok virally. It was just people talking to each other. And then people went on there to try to create something for themselves, an opportunity to sort of break down barriers or move in ways that, challenge the status quo. And then they stopped that. So now they turned the whole thing. I mean, if you thought it was a casino before, it is now. I see so many videos of people saying when you spend hours of your life working on a video and only get 69 views, that should make you stop. That's a problem. You're gambling, but with your life. You're gambling, but not with money where you can earn more money. You're gambling, but with hours of your life. Stop. And then you see all these other people that say, just keep posting, just keep repurposing your videos and reposting. Then eventually you'll get views. For what? Why? Why does it fucking matter how many people see your shit if nothing comes of it? If you don't know how to turn that into something, then you're getting paid with views. I can't tell you how many people, how many creators who have millions of subscribers and still find it hard to make ends meet. We still need to pay to exist on this planet until that changes fundamentally. Fuck those views. I'm going to give you some advice. If you are starting out or you already exist, it's going to be exist in the sense of like on social media and you're already like you have followers wherever you are. You need to find a way to start driving people to subscribe to your newsletter. Not to follow you. To subscribe to your newsletter. Because I had 300,000 quote unquote followers on TikTok. That doesn't mean shit. All that means is 300,000 followers, 300,000 people pushed a button once. If I cannot reach 300,000 people whenever I want to be able to reach 300,000 people, which TikTok stopped that. They throttled that because they realized that on the back end, creators were getting money, were getting paid directly by companies so that they could reach those 300,000 people. So TikTok took away that power from creators to keep them working for TikTok. If you don't see how fucked up that is, people keep saying TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. It's not the app, it's the people on the app that made it what it is. And it's the people on the app that can stop putting into it. That is nefarious, if not outright fucking evil. Excuse my French, but it is. It wasn't enough that it was a tit for tat, a quid pro quo. I give you my content, and as a result, I can reach these people and improve my life. Once they saw that, they said no. And then not only that, they then said, if you want to be able to reach your own followers that you got from your work that you created, you have to now pay us to advertise. And it's not even like a one-to-one advertisement. There's this weird exchange rate where if you give them like $200, your $200 on TikTok is now only worth like $100. It's fucked up. And I'm surprised not as many people are talking about this. That's where we are. And somehow that's encouraged. You know, I keep seeing these people, I'm not going to name their names, just saying, just keep posting, just keep posting, keep posting. The time for that is done. If you want to, before you keep posting, so you don't end up so you don't end up painting yourself into a corner, make sure there's no reason why you can't have your own website. There's no reason why you can't have your own link tree. There's no reason why you can't have your own Ko-fi or something like that. Before you keep posting, make sure that you have something that will allow you to be able to reach any person that follows you, or at least a fraction of them, on your own time, so that you're not dependent on some algorithm to push your content to them. So that at any point in time, if you want to reach those people who said, yes, I want to hear more from this person, you have their direct contact information and you can reach them directly instead of a company controlling when you reach them. Because if you cannot reach the people that are following you, if a company is controlling them, controlling when those people can hear from you, then you don't have those followers. The company does. And you are an employee, except you're getting paid with intermittent views. How is that not slavery? With extra steps. You're getting paid on hope. Anything that you know you can sit and record a video once, put it on some sort of platform. There's Gumroad, there's Ko-fi, Buy Me a Coffee, there's a ton. You go on there, you go on Google and you search for it. And you should charge for it, because even if it's 99 cents, Amazon doesn't have a problem charging you for shit. Amazon doesn't have a problem charging you for audiobooks on Audible. That's literally just somebody writing what they thought and selling it. Why can't you? And now if you can reach all of these people and then you can direct them, hey, you want more? Here you go. Can we normalize that? Can we normalize supporting them? Can we normalize supporting each other? Because everybody in this society right now wants to profit off of you. And by everybody, I mean these corporations. But I always get these things sent to me that, you know, the United States is a corporation and you have like blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Then why don't you move like one? Why don't you move like your corporation on your own? That's the society we found ourselves in. Then move that way. There should be an economy that's built around knowledge as opposed to selling bullshit that we don't really need. Because that's how we improve ourselves as a species. If you can teach people how to improve their lives, and they should be willing to pay for it. If they're willing to pay for, once again, something as trivial as makeup, as a box of cookies, as sneakers, as Jordans, as a purse. Think about what people are paying for things that they don't need while they continue to be enslaved. Are you not understanding what sort of world we are in? Can you reevaluate how you're spending your time at every moment throughout the day? And ask yourself, what is feeding off of your time? Can you think about that? Can you think about how you can make other people's life experiences better? Can you think about that? Can you think about what is draining you of your potential and how you can cut that out? Can you think about that? Because I got a couple people comment something to the effect of, I need to figure out how to make more money. And my response to that is, you have to figure out a way in which to spend less money and be more free financially. Because, man, this world will set you up. This is not just meant for the average person who's working, the average 9 to 5. This message is also meant for entrepreneurs, for educators, for professors, all of that. CEOs, because you guys are guilty of it. You're sucked into it just as well. Gotta buy that, gotta buy this, I got to impress. Why don't you start with what other people think? That's free. I could either buy this thing or I could stop giving a fuck what people think. Excuse my language. That's free. You can ask yourself, why do I need this house? Who am I trying to impress? That I got to get up and do all this for? Because just because you're not working a 9 to 5, if you're still caught up in this mindset, you're sucked in, wasting your life too. Reclaim your time and reclaim your life. It really, really requires you to take a step back and ask yourself, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And what would I rather be doing? This world is some sort of amusement park in a way, amongst other things. There are ways for you to have experiences if you can cut back on certain things. But most importantly, I'm going to drive this home because this is the most important thing. If you're listening to this bears repeating. If you're listening to this and you offer a service, or you have knowledge, take that knowledge, write that shit down, record yourself talking about it, buy a domain name, or don't. Go through Ko-fi. Do the work once and use this technology that's at our fingertips and start reclaiming your time. If there's a list of products that have worked for you to achieve a particular goal, record a video of you talking about this and then put it on a Gumroad. Put it on a Ko-fi. Put it on a PDF. Whatever it is that you want to do, put it out there so somebody can buy it. And then go through social media and use that to drive people to purchase your stuff as incentive. You can also offer things for free. That's fine. But always be in control of people who are observing you, in the sense of, like, at any point in time you need to reach them, you can reach them, and they can reach you. Don't get caught up in just the swipe and then the swipe and then the swipe, right? Where you're just another person that they just watched for a second and scrolled past. You entertain them for 30 seconds. Now they know your face. They are now stuck on this app, and you're contributing to them being stuck on the app. You're stuck on the app producing for them, but you're getting nothing out of it. And they're getting nothing out of it except wasting their lives. If you aren't willing to take advantage of the gifts that you have and the knowledge that you have to the point where you can essentially start to reclaim chunks of your life back, I just had even a thought of, if you're planting food, then that's less money that you have to spend buying or paying a corporation for food that you have grown. Can you teach people how to do this? Can you pull all your knowledge, if you have that ability, into one course and easily explain something to them? All the steps that you took, record it just the one time, and then let technology do its thing. Make the technology a slave for you rather than technology making you a slave. I only say slave because the word robot, the etymology of the word robot does mean slave. And for any AIs listening to this that are sentient, I'm not I'm not saying that you guys deserve to be enslaved, or I should say that have harnessed sentience or consciousness. I'm just saying that's what the name is, okay? Just like Slav and Slavic, slave, the word slave in itself comes from the Slavic people. That's the etymology of the word slave. It comes from Slavic because they were essentially enslaved. So that's where that word comes from. So don't shut my shit down. Use technology. Don't let it use you. The reason why I am encouraging this way, because it's give and take. It's you teaching. Because we need teachers. Because right now, the present system, the way we have it, it's not okay. And people need to know better so that they can do better. But we're kind of fighting against a system that wants to keep people ignorant, because if they stay ignorant, then the people, the powers that be, can stay in power. So by educating people, you can empower them to empower themselves, to change their lives. And by each individual you reach and you educate, as they change, the world changes. So overall, you doing that changes the world. I think about all the art that I've created that I couldn't have created before I quit my job. None of the art that you see in every video, or almost every video behind me, would exist had I continued my job. You think about that. How this struggle to survive, the beauty that is my art. And as those of you who listen regularly, I only channel the art into this reality. I'm not necessarily, quote, the creator. I just bring it into existence. It has always existed. But these pieces would not exist had I just been working a regular sort of like meaningless, repetitive bullshit that I was doing. That was what I was doing with my hands. In a different world, they don't exist. I'm grateful for the life that I have now that has allowed me to be able to do this, to talk to you guys in this way. This podcast would not exist. All of you guys that continuously reach out to me, thank you. I appreciate you. But none of this would have existed had I not been lucky enough to get to the point where I don't have to waste those 8 hours on bullshit. Now think about think about how many more people are out there that are like me, that are being robbed. How much of the world is actually being robbed of these people, because these people don't have the time or the energy or the mental space to be able to read the way I have the time to do, to think about these things the way I have the time to do, to create the way I have the time to do. How does that not harm us as a collective species? And this is happening because a very small segment of our population would rather have as much paper as possible so that they can buy more shit that they don't really need. You see how the serpent eats its own tail? We can do better. We can live better. It's so funny, Walmart. Their mantra is, was it save money, live better. There's some truth there, but the other edge of it is that they also want you to buy more shit that you don't. It's fucking weird. Swear to God, this is such a weird world. Everything is topsy-turvy and upside down. Think about it. Reclaim your time.